Well, but before we start, Chad Brindle, who covers the beat here really well, uh, he's out because his wife has cancer, and he's going to be out for a month in the hospital with her. And they've been dealing with that as a family for a long time. I don't know how long, but it's since I've been here and a lot longer before that. So hope he's doing well. I know he's listening, and Chad will be looking forward to having you sitting here, and your wife Kelly doing well in the future here. So thinking about you. Before we ask questions, any league win's a good win. That's a really good basketball team. It's a really good offensive basketball team, and they're a confusing and good defensive basketball team. I thought we did a really nice job early in the game of being in a stance defensively, playing with purpose defensively, really working to make shots difficult, specifically around the basket and on the three-point line. And I thought that led for opportunities for us to get out and run and share the ball. And you look down in 20 assists, that's probably the part that I'm the most proud of. You love to see the ball popping around like that. Defensively, I want to be better. Guys, there's moments I'm proud of, and then it just wasn't consistent enough. And they're a really good offensive team, so you're not going to just get stops all the time, but there's some breakdowns there, specifically in the second half. I thought to come out of the half, we just weren't ready to play early in possession, so you're playing from behind. You're not in a stance, you're not matched up in transition, and now you're playing from behind, and they're a team that kind of comes up the floor at like 30 miles an hour, and then all of a sudden they're at like 70 before you know it, and you got to be ready when they're coming up at 30. And I thought that we just weren't alert enough, I should say, early in the possession. And there were some breakdowns there down the stretch. I've said this on the radio here a second ago, but I think when you have a 3-possession lead under 2 minutes, you got to use clock. I've never been one to start doing that too early in a game, because I think when you lose your aggressiveness, sometimes that can really backfire. So you always want to attack and keep under control. But under 2 minutes with a 3-possession lead, you got to pull it out and try to use some clock. And we had 2 opportunities to do that. One, Ches turns it over, and the other one we turn it over, Vic and others out there in the middle of the floor, that leads to a basket for them. So that, finishing games out needs to be a little bit better. But you did see some stops down the stretch, and that's really how you finish games. And then obviously the turnover that, in the press offense with Shuey, you don't like to see that. So we got some work to do there, and some work to do to be more consistent defensively. But overall, you win a league game at home, you have 20 assists. Those are the things you're going to feel good about. And, finally, Mike Adams-Woods, I thought he was terrific. And a lot of guys were terrific, but I thought he was terrific tonight. They didn't pay quite as much of attention to him, especially early in the game, and I thought he did a really nice job of attacking off the bounce and making the right decision with the basketball. And I think everybody looked down and go 7 for 8, 18 points, but I thought his decision-making and aggressiveness helped our team, and it's amazing how basketball works, that when you do that, sometimes the ball goes in for you too. So it was a really good night for him, and he just keeps kind of getting better and more confident at the point guard position.
You talked about Mika coming into the season. You felt like he had made some strides as an offensive player. He's even having to play more now with Rob out. What is it, whether it was this offseason or just over the course of the first 15 games of the season or so, that you've seen him improve compared to last year, maybe?
I think there's a culture here of working and improving, and not just on your game but your body. You never arrive from a culture perspective. You're always becoming, you're always working at it. But there's a culture this past off season that was established that you can be proud of as a coach, that guys are in the gym. So if I sit here and just talk about Shuey or Micah and his day-to-day approach on his body with Coach Rayfeld and getting in the gym and shooting and playing pickup, and not just the stuff we do with them, the stuff they're doing on their own or with our graduate assistants and managers. I could talk about everybody on the roster, and that's something you're proud of. So you see the effects of guys improving because of the work that they put in. So I think it all goes back to the work, and then I think he's getting more and more confident and playing more and more to his strengths and who he is as a player.
You think Rob coming in, just knowing there's somebody else to compete with, maybe that helped at all?
I've always believed in competition. I always believe in lacing them up and competing. And you talk about player development, we can have a long conversation because that's something we think about every single day, and we have a process and a plan for that. And competing every day, that's a big part of developing. And so we're always going to have competition every possession, and if you don't like that, this ain't the place to play. But, yeah, I think that there's something to that for all of our guys.
You mentioned the defensive aspect moments ago. Just talk about the performance David DeJulius had on the defensive end. I mean, you held Jalen Cook just to 2 points there in the second half, and we all know how great of a player Jalen Cook is. Just talk about his performance there on the defensive side. We know he's taken that challenge to really hone in on the best offensive player on the opposing team. What did you think of his performance defensively tonight?
Yeah, I should have said it already. I don't want anybody to think I take David for granted. But yeah, it was tremendous, and it had a major effect on the outcome of the game. Because Cook, preseason first team All-League unanimously. Enough said, right? Enough said about the kind of player he is. And I thought him fouling out had a huge outcome on the possessions down the stretch. And think about why he fouls out, right? There's a couple offensive fouls that David draws, beating them to a position and, being in great legal guarding position to draw that offensive foul. Those are humongous plays for our team. You can see here in the last couple games that he's taking his defensive assignment, like, serious in a way that I really relate to and I really like, and it's having an effect on our entire team. And so you can look down, and I'll tell you what, 13 points, 5 assists, and 0 turnovers, that's something. But what he's doing defensively, that's something even more. And the more guys we get to jump on that bandwagon with that type of purpose defensively, the better we're going to be. But he was tremendous on Cook, and it did have a major outcome on the game.
I know the defensive stuff drives you crazy, but the offensive metrics compared to last year, you made huge strides. I know you had Ches and Vic's playing better, but what else is it that you feel like has allowed this team to really progress on that side?
Yeah, there's a lot of offensive threats on the floor, and again, you add Landers Nolley. I mean, we talked about it since we got him. He's a major offensive threat alongside of David DeJulius, Jeremiah Davenport. And then we talked about this back in the preseason. People probably thought you didn't believe me, but then you look at like Mika Adams-Woods and his improvement, or Vic. So it's not just the guys you add, it's the guys that are in your program improving. And everybody is an offensive threat, and that's going to make you better offensively. And then I think you look at like Josh Reed, Dan Skillings. I mean, they really bring something offensively as well. So the guys that are on the court are all offensive threats. We got a lot of firepower out there, and we got to get more consistent offensively. We go through weird droughts, right? I think everybody knows that. We got to get a little more consistent offensively, but I do think we have the ability to be a good offensive team.
I asked Landers about this. What is better, his shot fake or his shot? It's almost old school looking, which a guy like me is not going to mind.
Yeah, he's that's what good offensive players do. They have a weapon, and they have a way to play off of that, right? So he's such an elite shooter. And there's sometimes he shot fakes, I want him to shoot it, because every time he shoots it, I think it's going in. He's such an elite shooter, and then he has such an elite shot fake, and those two things play off of each other. And I think that stands out. His decision-making with the ball is getting better and better. And there's a couple plays, like there's the ball screen tonight earlier where he falls down, or he's driving baseline tonight and throws it away on the baseline drift in the first half. Like, there's a couple plays there that, you go, man, come on, do a better job with the ball. But if you look at where he was 4 or 5 months ago or in the summertime to now, his decision-making and ball skills are, like, improving at this incredible rate. And so his skills as an offensive player are going to keep being more and more than just a great shooter and a great shot fake guy. He's going to be a playmaker, or a more consistent playmaker. So just kind of hold on there, because I think he's just scratching the surface of who he's capable of being as an offensive player.
Victor gives you 13 boards. You out-rebound them. I think I heard you say somewhere that even if they're not getting rebounds, let's volley the ball around. I saw him do that a time or two. Obviously, I think you're 5-0 when he has a double-double. I mean, just how crazy is his improvement over last year?
Well, I'll talk about Vic, but 6 offensive rebounds. We missed 30 shots. and we only get 6 offensive rebounds, you guys know I'm not going to like that. And that's something we were talking about in every time out, it felt like. We had 2 of the 6 offensive rebounds in the first 2 minutes of the game. And one of them was Vic on the offensive board. I think it was the first basket of the game. And the second one was Vic tipping it out. And those were both in the first couple possessions. So you only have 4 for the rest of the game. We got to be better on the offensive board. I mean, we have to be better on the offensive board. I promise you guys we're working like hell at it at practice. Gosh, there's one there in the second half where you felt Vic and Landers could have gotten it, and it drops, and we let the other team get it, and that kind of stuff drives me crazy. But Vic's improvement, it's remarkable, right? But I still think he's just scratching the surface of who he is as a player. Like you're not seeing anybody close to their ceiling. Like his ability is so elite, and he works like crazy like the rest of them, and he's going to keep coming and coming and coming.
You mentioned guys like Dan and Vic. They combined for 12 of the team's first 18 rebounds there in the early segments of this game. Talk about what you saw from them early on that really got this ball rolling tonight.
Yeah, I thought Dan's minutes in the first half were tremendous, and man, he's got a knack for the ball, doesn't he? I mean, I look down at him tonight, 6 rebounds in 12 minutes. That's talk about making the most of your minutes. I thought he was, other than the charge, I thought he was really, really effective. And I think as we go back and look at the tape, we're probably going to go, man, we probably got to give Dan another rotation, But they cut it to 4 there. And you're in a league game, first one of the year, and you just kind of roll with the guys with all the experience. But I think we're going to go back at the tape and look at Dan's minutes and get a lot of confidence in him, not just to play him, but to play him down the stretch of games. I could be wrong, but that's kind of what I feel sitting up here on the podium right now. And that's what young guys got to do. They got to go in big-time games, in league games, and make a lot of plays and give you confidence to give them more minutes. And I think Dan Skillings is coming and coming and coming, and his improvement's been remarkable as well. I think him and Josh Reed, as we keep going here, for our team to be who we have to be, instead of playing 12 and 10, those minutes got to get up and up and up for us to be the kind of team we're capable of being. And some of that's on me as a coach, making sure that they get more time, and some of that's on them to keep giving us reasons to do it.
The first conference game, but it's also really the first opponent you've played like this in terms of net or Ken Palm, wherever it's either top heavy or lower in non-conference. What do you take away from how you played against?
The first what? I'm sorry?
The first team, it was either top heavy in non-conference or maybe a little bit lower down. So this is kind of that first team, I guess, in the middle a little bit. What do you take away from having a chance to play an opponent like that and, playing well, getting a win?
Yeah, it's a good win. Good team. A really good team. An NCAA tournament level team. So should give. I think we have confidence we can beat good teams. Certainly, you're a possession away from a top 25 team in this building. A couple weeks back, there were moments in other games against teams that are in the top 25 we played against where you feel like you can compete with anybody. It's just about consistency, and it was more consistent tonight, especially offensively. And it should be something we can build on. Yep, thanks, guys.
Mika, you've had to play more minutes with Rob being hurt. What's allowed you to kind of settle into this role and play really well here of late?
Nothing different. Really, just I know I got to step up, and do whatever my team need me to do, whatever it takes. Whether if it's assists, scoring, guarding, that's all I know. That's my mindset going into conference play.
Mika, it seems like you did a very good job facilitating this offense tonight. 6 assists, 5 of them in the first half. What's been working for you? I know you you were one of the top guards in the nation last year in assist-to-turnover ratio. You finished with 6 assists, 0 turnovers tonight. What was working for you to get downhill and attack tonight?
When I know I got players like Landers, Jeremiah, Dave, and all those guys, it's easier for me to just, get in the lane, and I know one of them going to be open, or I got the layup or, dump off. So I just know, once I get in the lane, I got good players around me, so I'm comfortable.
Landers, you hit your first few. Do you know early, I'm feeling it tonight, they're going to be going in, or is it just over the course of the game for you?
It's a course, throughout the game. It'd be some games I start off like that and end with what I started with. So I just been locking in and focusing on not letting that happen this year.
What is better, your shot or your shot fake?
I don't know. They might be like 50-50, honestly. Probably my shot, because everybody on the team be telling me to shoot more, but I don't be seeing what they be seeing. I don't be seeing it.
It looks pretty comfortable though, but I'm guessing that's a lot of practice.
Yeah, for sure. I definitely work on pump fake. Even in my workouts, it's crazy. With no defense, I pump fake. I got to work on it.
That was a very young Tulane team. Obviously, you guys saw a great majority of that roster last season. Obviously, Landers saw him at Memphis, now here. Was that something you guys prepared to see like that game tonight? Was it something similar with the offense they kind of ran last year? What was working for you guys defensively to get that stop tonight?
I just feel like we worked on it. I mean, preparation for this whole week was geared toward playing a scrappy, all over the place team like that. So it's a unique style of defense that they run, so you just got to be prepared for it.
Mika, you guys at 88 tonight. Offense has been a lot better this year. What's the difference? Obviously, Landers is here. Maybe Vic's playing better, but overall, what's allowed this offense to play better this year compared to last year?
Well, I feel like we added some good pieces, and I feel everyone that returned got better. But, you know, we just working every day trying to get better. And like I said, like the guys that we added, man, everybody's tough. I know Rob's hurt right now, but every piece that we added is contributed to us. So, and I feel like everyone just got better that came back last year. So I think everyone's just been working hard.
Kind of similar your freshman year, like, you know, maybe didn't start out playing a ton, but then obviously got a bunch of minutes, and it's felt like ever since then you've just always found your way on the court for 25 minutes a night, if not more. What is it about your game that you feel like allows you to be out there and eat up that many minutes?
Well, like I said, I know what coach, what he's looking out of me. You know, he want me to be a tough guard every day, bring every day in practice. But like I said, my mindset is just I'm going to do whatever I need my team to do. You know, I might not score it every night, you know. So, I mean, like I said, maybe it's my night to score. Maybe I got to guard one of the best players, or I got to, you know, play defense. So my mindset just to do whatever it takes. And that's what my coach has been preaching to me, too. Coach Miller, even Stowe, you know, Coach Dial and all them. They was like, you know, just you're a point guard for the team. So, you know, you just got to – it might be games where you're not scoring a lot. Just do whatever the team needs you to do to win.
Are you good with stuff?
Yeah, that's my guy.
You know,
Hey, nah, Stowe the type of guy, you know, he's going to go at you every day, and he's just trying to make us better. But that's my guy, though.
So you guys go against David every day in practice. He takes the challenge to try and lock down really good offensive scores. I mean, he limited Jalen Cook to just 2 points in the second half there tonight. Got him to foul out there with the 5-minute mark. Just talk about his defensive efforts. I mean, he's one of the top defenders in the league. What have you guys seen from him on the defensive aspect?
Outside of guarding us, he good.
Yeah.
I mean, no, I'm just playing. But me and Dave, we have our battles. Especially since John Newman been hurt, he kind of picked up that role of, like, getting us going and leading us on the defensive end, taking on the best matchup on the other end. So we just follow behind him and pick him up and tell him we got his back. Keep going.
For both of you, it's human nature when you're up 17 to get comfortable. Who in the huddle makes you uncomfortable to get you back going when it gets cut to 2?
I mean, all the coaches. Coach Roberts, you gonna hear his voice.
He's gonna make you uncomfortable.
He gonna make you uncomfortable
regardless.
because Roberts gonna be on you.
No matter if it's a huddle or not.
Yeah, so I say like all the coaches, you know, they all gonna preach to us, you know, like don't settle. Especially Coach Miller, like, you know, even when we're up a lot, you know, he's not smiling over there trying. He want us to keep winning habits, you know. So
What is it about being left-handed? It seems like when you turn the corner to drive to the hole, 9 times out of 10 you're gonna get there.
yeah.
Left-handed, but you still get there.
That's just the unique thing, I guess, the gift I got. I mean, everyone used to right-hand players, you know, so I feel like I have an advantage sometimes when I go left. But I don't know. I just feel like everyone thinks I'm right-hander or something. They don't really know what I am. So once I start playing everything, they don't really know how to, you know, adjust.